25. Parkway recorded 12 fatalities last year. Phil Belcher is visiting the Parkway from South Carolina and tells WLOS.
Try to make sure that we stay alive wherever we're going. People just need to be aware and be careful.
You're listening to NCN News.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The Heart Walk and Talk for Seniors is coming up on June 2nd. It is at 10 a.m. at the Tokay Senior Fitness Center track at 328 Hamilton Street in Fayetteville. You'll get valuable information about heart health and walk the track. Reminder that beginning June 1st, the Cumberland County Department of Social Services will offer free box fans to eligible residents through the Fan Giveaway program to help families stay safe during the summer heat. Residents may qualify if they meet income requirements and have a household member under age 2, over the age of 60, or with a heat-sensitive medical condition. Visit DSS at 1225 Ramsey Street in Fayetteville or call 910-677-2388, or you can call 910-677-2389 to get more information about the fans that are, again, eligible for some residents. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
With high pressure building into the area for our Friday, we'll see drier conditions today with lots of sunshine. Temperatures will still be warm this afternoon. Then we'll have a chance for rain on Saturday, but that rain will be pretty isolated, and then we'll be cooler to end the weekend. We're partly cloudy this morning with temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Then we'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Highs reach the mid 80s. We'll drop to the mid to upper 70s by Sunday. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
This edition of your local news and weather is brought to you by Fayetteville PWC.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code WALK5 to get up to a $5 bonus on your first tank.
Unity picnic in the park. Join me, Councilwoman Brenda McNair, in communities for the 4th annual Unity in the Park celebration on Sunday, June 7, 2026, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Lake Rim Park in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Experience a day of joy and camaraderie as we celebrate our vibrant community. Delight in live music from local bands, engage in a kickball tournament, or explore our artisan market featuring unique handcrafted goods. Savor delicious offerings from gourmet food trucks and enjoy family-friendly activities in our kids' zone. Learn from our firefighters and police officers, interacting with the community.
And good morning to you on this Friday morning show. We have almost 7 minutes after the hour there. I hope you guys are doing well. Out walking the dog this morning with nice weather, but I believe it's going to be kind of warm on today. Let me see what my little thing says here. It says that today we will have a high of 85. That's pretty good. I think yesterday was in the 90s. And so 85 is not bad. But anyway, this is Friday, and you have Jay and DL on the line, and DL and Jay on the line. And good morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I do well at this time. DL.
And so hopefully we can get some more rain. I know a lot of folks don't want it, but I want more rain.
Yeah, me too. I mean, we need some more rain. Matter of fact, I need to cut some grass.
Plants need it.
Right. So it won't be too hot today. Maybe I can get some grass cut and not be a crispy critter. But anyway, our most able producer today, the most fabulous, fantabulous, Tammy Quick. She's in the house and appreciate her very much. Anyway, look, guys, let's dive into some things here. Deal, I'll let you lead off, man. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in New York. So last week, was that this week or last week? That was this week, right?
Last week.
Oh, last week. Okay. On last week, young man introduced the president, and he happened to be the quarterback of the New York Giants, and there's some pushback and some flap and some this and that and the other and however. But, DL, I'll let you lead us in that discussion.
First of all, before we lead into it, for me, it's about a coworker or teammate checking another coworker. All the other stuff, you can say, well, Trump's this and that, so he was justified. I'm not focusing on that. Here's my issue with it. Number one, black folks, they considered inviting Jackson Dart to the cookout, because when Jackson Dart last year, when he scored a touchdown, he was iced out. He was doing the dances that some of the black athletes do, so they thought he was cool, okay? So last week, Giants had, I think it was either, I don't know if it was mandatory, well, it was irrelevant. They had their practices last week. I think it was mandatory. So they had their practices last week, off-season activities, where a lot of guys are in there, 80, only 53 make the team. So last Friday or Saturday, Jackson Dart introduced President Trump. And so his teammate, Abdul Carter, Abdul was drafted number 3 in the draft last year, number 3, after I think one or two quarterbacks were taken. And Dart was drafted later on late in the round. The Giants gave up a pick to get back in to get a quarterback. So he said, man, we doing this now, this got to be AI. And so there you have it. You have a teammate checking his quarterback. Now, here's my thing, Troy and Jay. The San Francisco 49ers probably has the biggest MAGA supporter, and he doesn't hide it. He's a big defensive lineman, former defensive player of the year. He wore a MAGA hat after the Sunday night football game and got fined. He plays for the San Francisco 49ers, one of the most liberal cities in the United States. His name is Joey Bosa, and he don't care what you think. But guess what's never happened, Troy J? He's never had a teammate check him about his support for Trump. He's never had a former player that I could find that said anything, had a problem with it. I mean, former teammate. Now, you have former players who have all these podcasts that said things, but never a former player on the 49ers. And they've been to 2 Super Bowls. They hadn't won anything. And Joey Bosa is also a good player in a defensive player of the year. He's never been checked. So that tells me these locker rooms are not going to be what they call broken into pieces, because there's predominantly black locker rooms. These locker rooms are not going to be burst into factions because your quarterback, who's supposed to be the leader of the bunch, is supporting Trump. Because a lot of black folks consider his policies divisive, and they call him all kinds. You call him to say he's racist or whatever. And that's not my point to debate those points. My point is that NFL players' careers usually run 3 years or less, and they don't get guaranteed contracts, Troy and Jay, meaning that if you sign a $60 million, if the owner says we're going to give you $60 million and we're only going to give you 20 guaranteed, and then usually they give you in bonuses and they pay it out in installment, you're only guaranteed to get 20 of that 60 million. So you know what these guys, when they come in there to do, they come in there, they keep the noise out. They know that I don't have a guaranteed contract. I might not be here. Heck, I could be cut in the same year I signed the contract. So for folks to say that this is Jackson Dart supporting Trump is going to hurt the team, no, it's not, because these guys only got less than 3 years, and they want to get the fourth year, Troy J, because they get the pension. Now, Abdul Carter, I want to get back to him, because we don't have a story if Abdul Carter does not make it a story. Because, like I say again, the 49ers, their coaches never had to address Joey Bosa when the media asks. They say it's a non-story. We hear the word. So Abdul Carter, the reason why this is a big misstep on his part is because Abdul Carter, the third-round pick from last year, wanted to wear Lawrence Taylor's jersey. Lawrence Taylor, number 56, is the most famous Giant of them all. Now, if you're old like Troy, you might be able to remember Frank Gifford and Pat Summerall from the 60s. You might be able to remember them because Frank Gifford went on to do Monday Night Football, and Summerall was with John Madden on CBS for a long time, and his daughter's the chief of staff, Susie Wiles, with Donald Trump. But getting back to the most famous Giants, Lawrence Taylor's had his off-the-field issues. He's currently a registered sex offender, multiple run-ins with law enforcement over drugs, and he's a big Trump supporter. He has introduced Trump on the beat before. He's on the President Trump physical, they call it President Physical Fitness Council. So I need Abdul Carter to explain to me why you want to don number 56. Now, Jackson Dart, if I was him, I probably would have went out to called Nick Bosa and say, well, how do you handle this? Because I've never seen Nick Bosa. Well, he doesn't have to get out and introduce Trump because everybody knows he's a Trump supporter. I think we shouldn't check our co-workers unless they're doing something destructive. Personally, I think Abdul Carter should have handled this behind closed doors. And before I give it to you guys, I'll say one last thing. I have close family members. I have one that had cognitive skills. I had to help them vote for President Trump in 2024. I have close family members, not giving their names up. I'm not going to check them about who they vote for. When we get to family gatherings, we don't talk about politics, but I know their politics because some of them do it on their social media pages, and I know. So my thing is, if I will defend my family members' right to vote for whoever they want to, because I'm not a Trump supporter, nor did I vote for, but I'll defend anybody's right to do that. And I just think Abdul Carter handled this wrong. And but some people find fault with the quarterback. I don't know how, because millions of Americans voted for Trump. You may not like it, but I just don't think we're going down this road, because the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, he never gave a post-Trump speech at a commencement exercise 2 years ago. They wanted him fired. I just don't like us suppressing folks' right to speak their piece. Thanks a lot.
Jay.
Oh boy,
what says
that's
you?
A tough one to. That's a tough act to follow. Let me. I will put it like this. We differ a little bit here. First and foremost, I do believe in freedom of speech. And if Jackson Dart wanted to support Trump, that's his right. However, he is a public figure. He is playing in a sport that is 65 to 70% African American. And while I think here's where the problem lies, is that Abdul Carter should have not aired his dirty laundry. If he would have just had this conversation within the team locker room and expressed his concerns so the world didn't hear it, I'd be okay with that, because I think that's human nature. Hey, he had a concern. He wanted to express it. I think where he went wrong is where he tweeted it. But I will say this, that I think from a morale perspective, with a sport, like I said, that is 65 to 70% African-American black, I think that's a problem in the locker room. I think that when you support someone, and again, this is just my opinion, who has made very divisive comments over his entire career, being Donald Trump, who has had a history of racist behavior when it comes to the apartment stuff, the housing discrimination stuff in the 70s. When you talk about the 5 African Americans who were unjustly sentenced to prison, and then they were found innocent and who will not back off of that, there is a history of issues with him and discrimination. So when you go out and you support a person like that and you're a public figure, I think that's an issue. That's all I'm saying is, do I think Jackson Dart is a horrible individual? No. But I think that you should probably think next time you support publicly any candidate, whether it's Obama, whether it's Biden, whether it's Donald Trump, because I think it can be very divisive. And that's all I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, freedom of speech is fine. I think Jackson Dart probably should have not done that speech and introduced Trump. And I think that Abdul Carter should have kept that within the locker room. Those are my thoughts. I'm sure you will totally disagree with them, Troy and DL.
Oh, no, but I just have a question for you, though. So, can someone balance out their behavior? For the Trump supporters out there, everything that you name, they can name 3 times as many things that President Trump has done for black people, African Americans. Clearly, he was a good friend to Jesse Jackson. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yep, I know.
And he was a good.
It
was a good friend to Michael Jackson. You know that, right?
Yep.
Yep. And
does that go back to the thing? Well, I have a lot of good black friends.
Well, my point is this right here is that
I mean, a lot of people. I hear a lot of white people say, "Well, I got some black friends." All of a sudden now.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me
I
finish.
just want to make sure I said that. Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm sure you would want to say that. However, my question is right here though: is it possible that if you're going to evaluate someone, would you look at their total behavior with everything? It's not about him having them as friends; it's what he did for them. And Tawana Brawley, you remember her, right?
Oh, I do remember that case with Al Sharpton.
Right. Did you know that Donald Trump now, and don't talk about, these are things that he didn't do publicly. Did you know that he provided a place for her to live for 6 months in the middle of that, rent-free?
I did not.
But I'm saying, but it's those kinds of things, and I can't name them all out. I'm not being for or against him. I'm just saying is that when people say, "Oh, well, he's a racist because blah blah blah," because he said this and that, but hasn't Donald Trump said things against his own family members, his niece, and everybody else? I mean, so if he has an issue with you about something, he's going to say it. So, but have you ever heard of a test called the implicit bias test from
of course,
out of Michigan?
Very familiar with that.
Have you ever taken that?
We all have them. Everyone has that.
My question is, have you ever taken that test? It's free, you can get it online.
Probably, but I don't recall the results. But I'm sure I have bias.
Sure, I'm saying, but I would encourage everybody that wants to know really about themselves to take that, because it's like, okay, we toss the word racist around a lot. Okay, I've been called a racist. You know what I'm saying? And so, this local community newspaper, because I was involved in some things with the police department one time and the health department, and they come after me, So I called this white guy, who I consider to be a friend. I said, what's that all about? He said, well, they consider you to be a black racist. I said, well, what did I do that would make me a racist? Other than these 2 public officials, I just stated what I believe what they were doing that was not good public policy. So I'm saying, so people come after people, they attack people, and just say, hey, you're a racist. That has become the default position. If all else fails,
it's also very dangerous.
Let's just call somebody a racist.
Throw that out at people.
Now, if you're going to talk about racist white males who've been president, name me one that hasn't. That doesn't have some racism in their history. That's what I would say, even down to Jimmy Carter. Okay? Okay, there was things that he didn't do, but let's talk about some things that he did do. Because Jimmy Carter was a conservative. He was a conservative Democrat. Certainly, no one can defend Al Gore, and he wasn't president; he was vice president. His dad voted against the Civil Rights Act. Al Gore Sr.
That's true.
But you know what? People get up and say, "Oh, Al Gore Sr. He voted to pass the Civil." You're lying. It's not even the truth. You see what I'm saying? Now look. Did you know? I got another question for you. Did you know that Al Gore's Secret Service team, the African Americans, sued him when he was the vice president because when he went home to the state of Tennessee, he would not allow them to go with him. He had to have an all-white team. Did you know that?
I did not know that. I think you brought that to my attention. This
is just my point, though.
If I could just say one. Yeah, go on.
But my point is this right here.
In response,
there is enough of that to go around, particularly all the white males, all over the place. I mean, I don't think anybody out here is pristine, clean, and free of bigotry, to include black people. Bigotry knows no bounds, man. Come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I mean.
If I could just.
Okay, go ahead, DL.
Before we move on, because this is what I didn't want the subject, because to me it was about a player who, I can't work with him. He's a Trump supporter. Seriously, because we need to hear from Abdul Carter, because now he won't talk. And he's going to realize you're in New York, the biggest media market. Both of you going to have to talk about this subject. Because I want to hear Abdul Carter. What is your reason for being upset at Jackson Dart and not being upset at Lawrence Taylor? But now he's hitting around this slogan. Well, we're just gonna move forward. We talked about this. We're focusing on bigger things. He's gonna have to address this down the road. His PR team needs to get a hand of him, and they need to discuss it, because I don't understand the Lawrence Taylor angle.
Yeah, and you make a really good point, DL. And I think the other good point you make, which I hate to say that you're making such great points this morning, but you did make a good point with Joey Bosa and San Francisco, how that was sort of a non-issue. The Harrison Butker issue with Kansas City was a bigger issue, where you had fans that were sort of boycotting and booing. But at the end of the day, I think that Trump has just had a history, and that's where I'm going, more of a history of discrimination.
They all have had a history.
You're right. You're right. I am.
It's about the grown men who you can't.
I hear you, DL, but I just think that sometimes you got to look in that rearview mirror and see what the potential harm can be when you make decisions. That's all I'm saying. I think that they both made decisions, and you got to live with the decisions. And listen, there are a lot of players and a lot of people in this country, millions, that support Trump, and that's their right, and I'm okay with that. I just think when you're a public figure, sometimes you have to be a little bit more conscious of your decisions. That's all I'm saying. Abdul Carter was wrong. Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, before we segue into other stuff, DL, I'm proud to be old, okay? I remember Sonny Jurgensen and Jake the Snake, and the people you read about, I actually saw them, and trust me, I think that's a good thing. And I hope that you stick around long enough to get into your 70s, okay?
There you go. I do too. I do too. I want to get in my 70s.
Well, all you gotta do is live to tomorrow. I mean, gee whiz. You ain't got one more day to make it there.
There you go. There you go.
But anyway, though, look, guys, as a matter of fact, we're going to other topics in the second part of the hour. But my thing is just, look, I think that we're just too hype. I don't think that you should have to walk on eggshells around people and not have, honor whoever you choose to honor. And it shouldn't be a situation where that if you like a president and somebody else don't like him or whatever, that you are afraid. How many people in this country get the chance to introduce a president? That's a big deal.
Very few.
That's a big deal.
Very few.
I remember when
go on.
Bush 43 came to Fayetteville, right? And so, I've always been into my photography stuff. So I had a ticket with Robin Hayes. You know Robin Hayes used to be our congressman.
Oh, yes.
I had a ticket to get inside of the thing when he was out to the Crown. And I had my cameras and all the other stuff. And some people said, well, they're not going to let you in there with all that. And I said, I asked the Secret Service guy, black guy, I said, can I? He said, no, just bring your bag up here and get your stuff searched like everybody else and you get in. So they let me in and had on the suit, guys, so they thought I was part of the White House press corps. So I was standing right up by the president. Took a lot of pictures, man, right up front with the guy. You could see the print on his tie and everything. And so I was just proud of the fact that I took pictures of a U.S. president. Okay? I mean, a number of them.
But you agree with,
And it didn't matter.
And I think...
You know what I'm saying? But the point was, though, I was happy about doing a photo shoot of a U.S. president. And so I take my pictures out to some friends, and they're angry. Oh, no, I don't care. I'm like, okay. So now Bush 43 is not such a bad guy. He's turned into a nice guy.
You're right.
All of a sudden, you see what I'm saying?
He is. I like Bush 43.
But honestly, did you like him then?
I was not a big fan.
That's what I'm saying. But Jay, what changed?
Well, I think I'll be very honest with you. You know what changed. I am comparing everyone to Donald Trump, and that's the problem.
I don't say that. Okay,
that's
look.
on me.
That was Jay. I'm not saying for me, guys, that doesn't make sense.
Bush 43 is, I think he's a deity. I think the guy can't do any wrong.
But I'm saying, at that
I think
time,
he would be a great president now.
But at that time, people hated him, and they hated anybody that hated him. You know what I mean? Now, I openly supported Bush 43, and it was, oh, man, I was the enemy, I was this, I was that, I was all these negative names. I mean, give me a break. Gee whiz. I mean, it's just... Let me just
say one thing. I think the one thing that we're not doing well in this country is we're canceling people out because they like one candidate or they don't like, or they like another candidate. I fall into that category, and I think what we need to do better is listen to differences, have honest conversations, but because I disagree with you, Troy, we hang up the phone and we're good. I can have those kind of conversations.
Right.
So I think that's where we need to be as America. We can disagree, but we don't need to hate one another because we have different opinions.
This is true. Well, look, we got to go to a break, but not only that, I know where you live, and I need to find out where DL lives.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll be back for more inside of the Friday morning show, WIDU 1600 AM 99.7. We'll be back for more following this.
U.S. and Iranian negotiators have reached a tentative agreement to extend the ceasefire by 60 days and launch negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. President Donald Trump still needs to sign off on the emerging memorandum of understanding. Forecasters with NOAA's National Weather Service are predicting a below-normal hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin this year. NOAA's outlook is for the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season, which runs June 1st through November 30th. A suspected gas explosion and fire were reported on Thursday at an apartment building in the Oak Cliff neighborhood of Dallas. Local and federal law enforcement officials say the 6-month investigation into a northeast Charlotte neighborhood is just the beginning of an effort to make the Sugar Creek corridor safer. U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson referred to the major city corridor as an open-air drug market. Brunswick County is working to update its development policies. Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
I'm Jamie Monticelli, WIDU Radio News. The Heart Walk and Talk for Seniors is coming up on June 2nd. It is at 10 a.m. at the Tokay Senior Fitness Center track at 328 Hamilton Street in Fayetteville. You'll get valuable information about heart health and walk the track. Reminder that beginning June 1st, the Cumberland County Department of Social Services will offer free box fans to eligible residents through the Fan Giveaway program to help families stay safe during the summer heat. Residents may qualify if they meet income requirements and have a household member under age 2, over the age of 60, or with a heat-sensitive medical condition. Visit DSS at 1225 Ramsey Street in Fayetteville or call 910-677-2388, or you can call 910-677-2389 to get more information about the fans that are, again, eligible for some residents. From WIDU Radio, I'm Jamie Monticelli.
Good Friday morning. We start your day with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the low to mid 60s. By this afternoon, we'll see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. We'll be drier and more comfortable with highs warm still in the mid 80s. Then more cloud cover overnight into Saturday morning. Temperatures will be mild, dropping to the mid 60s. Some isolated showers and storms are possible on Saturday. Otherwise, we'll have partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Highs will reach the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Grant Skinner in the NCN Weather Center.
It's one of life's simplest comforts. Turning on the tap and knowing clean, safe water's there. A glass before bed, a warm shower in the morning, water to cook, clean, and care for loved ones. So often, it's something that can be taken for granted. But behind every drop is a commitment to quality, safety, and service. At Fayetteville PWC, providing award-winning water is more than a service. It is a responsibility and a point of pride. Delivering clean, reliable water remains a top priority for Fayetteville and surrounding communities every single day, because clean water supports healthy families, strengthens neighborhoods, and helps communities thrive today and for generations to come. Discover more about the difference quality water makes at faypwc.com. Fayetteville PWC, always there, always on, always built to serve.
Remember the rotary phone? Well, soon that's what people are going to ask about gas-powered cars. And every day we see videos of robots becoming more and more like us. Welcome to the future. At Fayetteville State University, we believe that anything really can happen. So wherever it is that you want to go, we've got a program for that. Visit Fayetteville State University and find out how we're preparing students just like you for what comes next. Fayetteville State University. Are you in?
If you have been injured in a motor vehicle collision, you should understand that the insurance company is not on your side. It is the adjuster's job to get by with paying you as little as possible. Call personal injury trial lawyer Brent Adams now for a free no-obligation consultation. Call now, 910-888-8888. Don't hesitate. Call 8. At Brent Adams & Associates, we make things right.
Unity picnic in the park. Join me, Councilwoman Brenda McNair, in Communities for the 4th Annual Unity in the Park. Celebration on Sunday, June 7, 2026, from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Lake Rim Park in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Experience a day of joy and camaraderie as we celebrate our vibrant community. Delight in live music from local bands, engage in a kickball tournament, or explore our artisan market featuring unique handcrafted goods. Savor delicious offerings from gourmet food trucks and enjoy family-friendly activities in our kids' zone. Learn from our firefighters and police officers, interacting with the community.
Welcome back to the morning show here on this Friday. Jay Deal on the line. So, guys, transition to another topic here. So, the Fayetteville City Council just recently renewed its contract for putting 18 police officers in public schools. That was just last Tuesday. They voted on that. Tense debate about having whether or not to have law enforcement in the school. The SRO, Student Resource Officer contract, was renewed. That was an 8-2 vote with council members Sean McMillan and Stephon Ferguson opposing that. What about that? I mean, how do you stand on that? Jay, I'll lead off with you.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm understanding is there was an issue with some racial disparities with the students who continue to get either put on suspension, and they feel that it needs to. I think what McMillan said, they need to slow down the process and look at some of the data before they make this decision. I guess my understanding is I don't think they're talking about no school resource officers, but we had to look at the process. I mean, personally, I think you need school resource officers in every school. But there is that issue with the racial disparity and some of the findings they said. I don't have any more data on that, but I think that was sort of the pushback, as I understand it.
I'm feeling you with that, but I believe they don't want school resource officers in there, period. I mean, I got what you're saying. Now, that's really I think a serious concern about the disparity in the number of youngsters that get charged and things like that. I go along with that. But
right.
Do we need to have schools, DL, that don't have law enforcement in them at all? I mean, now matter of fact, you've been a student resource officer and you've also worked in the schools. You probably have a better perspective on that than as anyone.
Well, like I said, I've been a school resource officer most of my time at 71st High School, and yes, high schools do need them. Now, let's get back to what the city council did. It was 8-2. I would have loved to know Stephon Ferguson reasons for kicking it back. I respect Sean McMillan. He's a former veteran like myself. However, he needs to be on the school board. The city council did not solicit this job of providing school resource officers because they need them on the street. But Mayor Colvin and the council know once the sheriff's office said they had to opt out for personnel reasons, somebody needed to pick up the ball. Because if not, guess who's responding to all those calls for service? The city of Fayetteville. This costs the taxpayers nothing. The money comes from the Board of Education, but they don't oversee the police officers. They report to their supervisors and to the police chief. So it's a win-win. Because believe me, ask Chief Bryan, he could use those officers. So getting back to Sean McMillan, Mayor Colvin came back with a response, and he said, words sound good, no death to it. He was direct to his rebuttal of those remarks. But I agree with the council. This is much needed. Now, McMillan, when he talks about suspensions, that's up to the school system. Now, the Fayetteville Police Department officers will do reports. Now, most of the students on those campuses should be under 18, meaning if Fayetteville police officers wanted to charge a student, it still has to go to the juvenile court counselors, and then they work in conjunction with the juvenile district attorney who handles juvenile cases. Those two will make a determination if this case goes before a judge. The police can charge and recommend charges all they want, but it's up to the juvenile justice system to say we're going to put this matter before a judge. So now if Sean McMillan, his concerns are somewhat legit because I say about 10 or 12 years ago under Sheriff Butler, those SROs for the county were doing a lot of tasing use of force in Cumberland County because that was a topic. So if he'd have brought something like that to the table and say, let's look at the numbers of what's happening to Cumberland County students, and then we could say, well, Fayetteville Police Department, these incidents happen under them, then we could talk. But if he didn't bring that to the table, they need those school resource officers there.
So just help me understand what Sean is saying. Instead of police, they want counselors and mental health folks that are at the schools. They don't want anyone with any police officers. Is that correct?
No. That's what Sean McMillan is saying. But that needs to be the Board of Education. Yeah.
No. I'm just saying what Sean McMillan is saying.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. You said they. Sean McMillan, he's conveying they need other mental health professionals. My thing to Sean McMillan is that's a school board decision. Telling his colleagues that, I don't get it. He can call the school board and ask them why they don't have those there. He's a citizen of Cumberland County, so me, he'd be better served running for a board of education to do that. But that'll never pass on the board of education. That's not happening. You look at these graduations that's going on around the United States.
Yeah, well, my position is that,
I agree with you.
Number one, if an officer is needed on campus, if you have someone there, you don't have to wait for a response time. The person is there on campus. It could be a deterrent, but quite naturally, as long as human beings are involved in any type of situation, there's going to be some type of bias involved in it. I think that another challenge is some of the teachers are calling for law enforcement intervention when they shouldn't in a classroom. It's not a law enforcement issue. It's something that they should deal with administratively. That, it's a student teacher issue, so to speak. However, though, unfortunately, I think we're just in a place now where law enforcement needs to be there. I mean, I know
I totally agree.
Back in the day, again, old Troy, we didn't have cops on campus, okay? But we were of a different mindset then than the way these youngsters are now. Just yesterday, man, now I'm going to accept that as being true. I was talking to a couple, and they was talking about a kid getting on a school bus and waving a gun on the school bus. And I was told that yesterday morning. I'll accept their word on that, but my thing is that it's a different world we're living in now. It is. And so, what are you going to do? And some of these students will assault teachers. I'm not talking about verbally. Oh, yeah. They will actually put their hands on them. I mean, what do we do, guys? I mean, in the absence of law enforcement intervention, you're not going to be able to talk to these kids. I mean, because, they leave home broken, fractured. Something's wrong with them, and their parents can't control them.
So they did vote 8-2. They're moving forward. Is that correct? And
yeah, it was a
point. It's
renewal of a contract. That's what it was. Contract renewal. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, I got all that right. So I mean, my thing is that, hey, look, how can you not have that with everything that's going on at the schools?
No, I totally agree. To me, this was a non-issue, but I understand that there's always 2 points to an issue, and I hear what Sean McMillan was saying and the other gentleman, but I think they moved in the right direction personally.
Right, but
and one last topic on this, Troy, and these are one-year extensions, and to me, to have this conversation that this contract goes into effect 1 July, they should have pushed this back to February, because we don't need the school system finding out in May that we're not going to renew this contract in July 1. So they need to move this discussion up quick, because they have to respond. Now, and I'll let us move on, Troy.
Sure, but anyway,
we'll revisit this.
Sure, but anyone that wants that data, now, first of all, you there has to be an assumption that the schools are accurately reporting everything that's happening. However, the Department of Public Instruction, you can go to the website, because I've gone to it on a number of occasions, and you can look and see who is getting charged. They break it down race and gender-wise, and what school systems have the greatest number of infractions, charges, suspensions, all those kind of things. They keep that data. And so, like I said, with the understanding that the schools are actually reporting the data correctly, when I hope that they are, you can see what's going on. Yeah, and there is a bias, no doubt about it. There is a bias.
Oh, yeah, there is.
I give you an example. Long time ago, man, my good friend is now departed, going on to be with the Lord, federal police officer Ron Purdy. You probably remember them, don't you, DL?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But anyway, though, so we were called to a school, and the principal said he caught 2 kids smoking pot. Okay, so we're both narcotics officers, and That's what they did back in the day. If they found something that they thought to be drugs, then they call you out. So we were riding, we went by the school, and this happened now. The principal said, well, I caught these 2 kids here smoking pot, and I want you to take this one downtown here, and I'm going to call this one's parents. And true story, they want us to take the African-American kid downtown, and it's going to call the parents of the white kid. And we said, well, were they both doing the same thing? Yeah. What was the difference? Well, this kid here, he's different from this kid. I'm calling this kid's parent. I said, no, wait a minute. Both of us said, we either take them both downtown or we leave them both here, and you can call both their parents. Well, the principal flipped. He happened to be a white male. He flips. Then he says, okay, well, I call both of them the parents. But he wanted us to take the black kid down and criminally charge him, and then he was going to give the white kid a break and call his parents. That actually happened.
That's not a shock at all.
Yeah, I'm saying right.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me. I mean, I hate to use this as an example,
right?
And probably a very bad example. So tell me how bad this is. But look at the way folks were treated in the '80s with powder cocaine and crack cocaine. One group was charged differently than the other, and that stuff still goes on today.
Yeah, but you know what? Having been a former drug officer.
Is that a good example? Just tell me that's a good example.
I don't think
Bad
so.
example?
Look, here's my thing right here. People snorting cocaine.
I figured it wouldn't be good.
People snorting cocaine. The violence that was attached to the violence that was attached to crack cocaine entirely different from people doing lines. Yeah, pharmaceutically wasn't the same either, because it was different. If you take it to a lab, it's actually two different things. It's cocaine, but people snorting cocaine in three-piece suits, getting high and doing whatever they're doing, one thing. But crack cocaine, the violence associated with that, I mean, it was just off the chart, man. It really was. I mean, it just...
Let me take that off as a good example, then. I'm
but that's just my previous law enforcement experience.
Good point. Good point.
Right. Anyway. Well, look, so the last 10 minutes here, we were running downhill here. Let's talk a little bit about our state auditor. Now, he's on it. I don't think he's picking on anybody, but he called out your old alma mater there, Jay.
He did.
North Carolina Central University. He said they were in the worst fiscal shape of any school in the UNC system.
UNC school. That is right. That is right. Now, I don't know the details yet.
Right.
Let me just say this one thing. I would like to say this. I have been so impressed with Dave Boliak. He is everywhere. I get his messages now on Facebook. He does these little presentations and explaining exactly what he's doing with each audit. And I think that is really helpful. He's out there. I feel like there's transparency. And I really, one of the things I'd like to tell both of you, I'd like to get him on our show.
You know what?
I think he would be a very good guest if we could.
I'll work on trying to make that happen. Okay, I'll work on that. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make that happen. But anyway, getting back to Central, that was pretty much a shocker because, quite honestly, I hear so many good things about the leadership at Central. I haven't heard any controversies about accreditation. Things seem to be going extremely well. You know, we heard that thing about FSU, I think it was a year or two ago. There were issues with spending, and that sort of went away. With Central, it was a total shocker to me. I'd like to hear the details, but it's one of the largest HBCUs in the country, and I thought it had such a great reputation, but this definitely is a major concern, and I think details will be forthcoming. But it saddens me to hear that.
They did have a fiscal issue as well as Fayetteville State some years ago. You know, I mean, I forget now, but they had an issue too with money being there on campus. You know, it wasn't. I don't think it was widespread, but it was in one of those programs, and it involved a couple of those professors up there. I mean, I just, you know, I guess people see the money and they think they can take it. You know, I don't know. what happens. But DL, I know DL has some real issues with what happened at Fayetteville State because we don't hear any more about it. DL?
Yeah,
we don't hear any more about it.
It was the purchase cards. And let me tell you what's going on in North Carolina, whether it be on the state level, local government, county government, at these schools, anything that is taxpayer funded, any government organization that's subject to being audited by the state auditor, you have some lazy, sloppy book work, and you have some deliberate, misleading work, and then you have some criminal activity going on. So, and hopefully Commissioner Kirk Davies listened, because Troy, I remember I called in one time and I talked about the possibility of the people in Raleigh saying, you guys are not going to continue to tax property tax. And Kirk's right, until it gets out of the committee, until they vote on it is one thing. But guess what happened? We're putting it on the ballot next year. And the reason why, and this is the reason why Representative from Cabarrus County, Concord, Kannapolis wants it on the ballot. It's stuff like this. When you have folks who, our property tax pays a number of things. It reaches those campuses. Our taxes are impacted by everyone. So when Hope Mills messes up, when Central messes up, when UNC North Carolina messes up with taxpayer money, all these representatives Raleigh is saying, and now the local folks need money. Because I think about stormwater. Whenever I'm riding out in the road, you go to Rowan Street, Murchison Road, I think about when water sits on the roadway. I think about infrastructure, that places like the city of Fayetteville, the city of Fayetteville needs new facilities. They need to get rid of that old fleet maintenance building on Grove Street. They need to get rid of that sign department. They need a acreage of where they could just, a central location, but they probably don't have the money for it. And now the city of Fayetteville, if the voters in November say, yes, Representative, we don't want our local and county governments to be able to raise our property tax. If this goes into effect, don't know how it looks, Fayetteville is going to suffer, and other municipalities are going to suffer because they're going to have to do bonds to raise money. And I'm torn between it. I'm a property tax. I pay property tax, but and these folks need raises. The city employees need raises. I am torn between the state saying we're going to do something about this and taking away from the locals. So this bothers me that we need to have people who are good stewards of the money at every level. And department heads, Board of Education folks, city council folks, and commissioners, hold your full-time employees responsible. Make them do their job and balance these books and be truthful.
Yeah, let me just add one thing. You mentioned P cards or purchasing cards. I remember when I was with Fayetteville, we wrote a new policy speaking specifically to P cards because there was that problem with Spring Lake where people were using the P cards for personal uses, and it got out of hand. We heard about that, and we ended up looking at our policy. We redid the policy. The city of Fayetteville does a great job with monitoring the P cards, but it is an issue with many organizations where people just let that thing go, and people aren't doing a good job of monitoring. Audit is important. That's why you have internal audit departments to check into that stuff. But I'm going to get back to Dave Boliak just for 1 second because we were talking about audit. I think he's really letting people know that the state auditor is on you. He's looking into all these issues, and folks need to make sure that they're, crossing their T's and dotting their I's because this is serious business. As you said, these are taxpayer dollars. There's nothing worse than when you hear stories. Did you hear the thing about Hope Mills recently?
Jay, real quickly though, he's not on them like looking for them. These are people calling in.
Oh no, I know. These are like whistleblowers. People are calling in. Absolutely.
We don't want him. What I don't want is the people to think he's targeting HBCUs. He's not doing that. Folks are calling in, and he's going to investigate.
They're leaving messages. He's investigating. But it also, what it does is, it lets people know that, hey, this stuff is going on. We better take a step back here and mind the shop here and do what's right. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. People are leaving messages on these lines, and then they're investigating. Absolutely correct. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And as Bolick said, some of these things are unfounded. they can't find anything. And other times they say, hey, these are good leads, and they actually uncover issues. So it's a good thing.
Jay, question though. Were you around when the Fayetteville PD had the issue with the gas cards?
I don't recall that. No, I can't recall that.
Yeah, so, I mean, they're not as pristine clean as, I just want to say, look, we all have our issues. I mean, they were using them gas cards.
What happened? Tell me, bring me up to speed on that quickly if you can.
There were federal police officers that was using, not happening lately now. This didn't happen lately. This was around, when was that deal, 16, 17, something like that? Maybe 15?
No, it was actually 2019.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I was gone already.
Yeah, you were gone already. But anyway, yeah, there was some federal police officers that were using gas cards to fill up their privately owned vehicles.
Oh, first of all, that's not a good thing.
Right, it's definitely not. Anyway.
Not a good thing.
Well, look, guys, before we close out, do want to make mention, I want everybody to be praying for the King family. Former Commissioner Billy R. King passed yesterday morning. It's my understanding that at approximately 12:44 a.m. in the morning. I did know that he was suffering health issues. I had seen him in the hospital twice, but he just didn't make it out. And, he would be remembered as a great contributor to our community for all that he did. Matter of fact, he used to have a show here on WIDU. But, great guy, beautiful family, daughters and wife, and, but anyway, he was a good person and a friend to a lot of us. He was part of the gang down at the shoe shine shop and good friends with Attorney Alan Rogers, and a number of others. But he will be greatly missed. And so we ask those to be praying for the King family. He's originally from Wilson County. And matter of fact, last time I talked to him a couple weeks ago, we were talking. And so he went to school at Elizabeth City State. And he was a social studies teacher. He told me he really enjoyed that. He came here as one of those, the state lobbyist kind of thing, that he came here in that some kind of capacity related to that, to Cumberland County, and remained here, made this his home, and again, he will be greatly missed. But our time is up. Last words to you, DL and Jay, in this last minute.
Hey, just make it a good weekend and stay safe.
Right.
I would say the same thing. Thank our teachers, thank our nurses, and go Spurs.
Look, we got to get out of here. You're going to have, coming up at 10 o'clock, help me out, Heartbeat with the Reverend God, Dr. John L. and Ron Godbolt. And also at 11 o'clock, you're going to have MP3, so don't go anywhere. Great talk for the rest of the morning. You all have a great weekend. Be encouraged. Everything's going to be all right.